Hey, you're a financial firefighter here, Marco Shiro. And today, what I want to talk to you about is mindset shift from focusing on paying off my mortgage to increasing cash flow. So basically, my mind shift changed from reducing expenses to trying to figure out a way to increase cash flow. And that's what I want to talk about today. But let me remind you, I do work for the Honolulu Fire Department. I do work for RE/MAX Honolulu. All the ideas, topics discussed on this channel are of my own. I'm not a financial planner, but I'm here to hopefully help you get started in your real estate investing journey. So also, please hit that subscribe button. Please like, please comment. Let me know how I'm doing so I can help grow this channel and hopefully reach more people, because definitely I want to help other people get on this path to financial freedom. So, for a lot of people, myself, I'm a Gen Xer, a lot of us growing up, we were told and led to believe that paying off your mortgage was, the best financial thing that you could do. So for me, I think it is, there is some benefits to paying off a mortgage or trying to pay it down quicker. It does provide stability, it does provide peace of mind, and for some people that's what they're looking for. So it's not a bad idea, I would say. However, I feel there's better ways if you're looking to get to financial freedom or increase your cash flow or be able to retire early. And I think a lot of people, we get caught in this mindset that you have to pay down your mortgage quicker or get rid of that expense, and then life will be that much better. However, when you look at it, you only can reduce your expenses so much, right? And yes, your housing expense is probably your biggest expense, and by paying down your mortgage quicker, it does get rid of that bigger expense. But how long does it really take, right? You can shave off 5 to 7 years off maybe your 30-year mortgage or whatnot, but you can focus on paying it off. But now what, right? You've gotten rid of this expense. However, you still have property taxes, you still have insurance you have to pay, right? And if you don't make those payments, somebody's still going to come after your property. So you don't truly ever own it outright. So for me, I was led down that path of trying to pay down your mortgage quicker. And it did help me in some ways, because I had more equity in my properties, which I now use to invest in cash flowing properties. So it did help me. However, if I was to look back and if I could do things differently, I definitely wouldn't focus on paying off my mortgage. I would focus on trying to generate more cash flow. And I think that is something that is more beneficial in the long run, because your expenses, you can only reduce it so much, but cost of living is always increasing. Inflation, things get more expensive. If you want to travel, you don't want to be on a fixed income. So if you can figure out how to invest and get assets that can help generate more cash flow, now that is how you're going to get to financial freedom. So for a lot of you, like I was talking about, I'm a Gen Xer. So for me, maybe for my parents, it made a lot of sense for them to pay down their mortgage quicker, because they were looking at maybe rates in the double digits. They could have been looking at 12% mortgage rates, 18% mortgage rates. So maybe for them during that time, focusing on trying to pay down your mortgage maybe was a better idea. However, nowadays, we were just coming off lowest interest rates of all time. We're still at low rates considering historically, but yes, the velocity of the rates have increased, which is kind of a shock effect to a lot of people out there. A lot of people are not qualifying. However, a lot of us refinanced in this past 2 years. So a lot of people out there with mortgages have very, very low mortgage rates, and focusing on paying off that rate is probably going to slow down your process of being able to increase or buy other assets. So that's why I recommend, if you're gonna, want to get to financial freedom, the quickest way is you have to be able to get assets So instead of focusing on paying or trying to reduce your expenses as much as possible, let's use that extra money to be trying to invest to get assets that are going to generate more cash flow for you. So that's where the mindset shift has to come in. And it took me a long time. I mentioned in one of my previous videos, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, close to 25 years ago maybe. And it just didn't resonate with me. Like, I couldn't get over that concept of your home is not an asset, because I was led to believe that your home is your biggest investment, is your biggest asset. And I just, that book, it didn't make sense to me. I was like, no, everybody's told me, my parents told me, you gotta have a home. Your home is your biggest asset. And so when that book came out and I read it, it didn't make 100% sense to me. But now when I read it and look at it, I understand completely what he was trying to say, that you want to get assets that generate cash flow for you. Yes, your house can appreciate in value, but a lot of good investors, like they say, appreciation is nice. However, it's not worth anything until you do something with it, right? So your property can go up in value, but how is that benefiting you? How is that helping you if you're not going to maximize it and use it to collect more assets and generate more cash flow? So definitely, I'm glad I was able to change my mindset. However, if I did this, early in my 20s, I definitely would be way ahead of where I'm at now. And I, no doubt in my mind, I'd be retired and doing a lot of other things in life, traveling and having so much time off, taking my son to give him experiences around the world. But we all got to start somewhere, right? And like I said, it's not wrong to want to pay off your mortgage quicker. However, if your goal is to reach financial freedom as quick as possible, definitely trying to buy more assets to generate cash flow would be the quicker way to do it. And I definitely see the light now, and I'm hoping to help other people realize that we don't want to focus on paying off our mortgage as quick as possible. Maybe as you get towards a later age in your life and you want to reduce maybe some liabilities or some debt, and so you want to consolidate things, then yeah, maybe you want to work your portfolio and maybe have less mortgages out there, or have less what you would say outstanding debt on these properties. So you might want to consolidate, and yeah, maybe some of your properties you're holding a lot of equity in it, but that's at a point where you're generating enough cash flow and you can maneuver around. But in the beginning, if you focus on paying off all your expenses or reducing your expenses, I think you're really handcuffing yourself in trying to accelerate your process into reaching financial freedom. So, right now, the time that we're in right now is a good example to kind of show how changing your mindset can make the outcome so much different. So, for example, inflation is through the roof right now. And as of today is November 10th. The new CPI data for October came out, and inflation has gone down slightly, so we're now in the 7s, but that's still a high number, right? So for example, let's say you had a paid off house, right? You had no mortgage on it, and you're living comfortable, right? You don't have this big expense that you have to pay monthly. However, inflation is making everything else go up, right? Your property tax is probably going to go up, your insurance is probably going up, your food, your gas, everything else out there, clothing, travel, everything else is getting more expensive. And if you're on a fixed income, right, you're basically your quality of living is going to go down because you're not able to increase or generate more cash flow. So that's why cash flow is super, super important. So yes, we do want to reduce expenses when we can, and we do want to lower expenses when we can. However, the goal shouldn't be to focus on reducing our expenses, because we can only reduce our expenses so much, right? But our ability to increase cash flow, that's infinite, right? If we keep investing, if we keep purchasing assets and keep generating cash flow, we can continue to grow, and we can grow and grow, and we have the foundation to continue to increase our cash flow. Whereas expenses, once you reduce your expenses, you can't go below zero. You can't reduce it anymore. So it's good. Like I said, we do want to keep track of our expenses and try to minimize them as much as we can. However, the goal should be to try to increase our cash flow, because that's going to help us fight inflation, the rising cost of living, and it allows us to live the life that we want to live. So that's how we're going to reach financial freedom a lot quicker, and it's just going to put us in a better position to enjoy our life, right? And I think that's everybody's goal, is to have a better quality of life and have more time. So hopefully, to all you folks out there, that makes sense. Like I said, if your goal is to pay off your mortgage as quick as possible, like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. Some people, that's their comfort level. They want that stability. They don't like having that mortgage hanging over them. And like I said, that's nothing wrong with that. However, if your goal is to reach financial freedom and retire when you want to retire early, have more time, be able to do more things in life, I suggest you look at trying to collect more assets that can generate cash flow. So if you like this content, please subscribe to my channel, like, comment, let me know how I'm doing. I want to help reach more people, so I can help more people get on this path to financial freedom. And I definitely want to help people not make the same mistakes that I made. You could probably get to financial freedom a lot quicker, not making the same mistakes. So I'm here to help. Reach out anytime, but please just trust the process. And until my next video, keep looking for those deals.